What's going on, my creative collective, my Aquarius, my Aqua collective? Camera's shaking a little bit. So I was meditating on the energy for you for this timeless reading, and I what came to mind. I was kayaking last week, and what came to mind during that was the algae blooms on the water. Right. So algae it's like it's not toxic unto itself, but it's what it carries that can make you that can be the bacteria that makes it not great, right? There was just general algae blooms on the surface, and only in the stagnant portion of the river area. Like it's like a river, but then it weaves through all of these like limestone structures. So wherever the water grows stagnant, you see these blooms come up, and they weren't green blue. It wasn't toxic algae, but I was just passing over it in the kayak, and I was like poking at it and just watching them go, and they would just dissolve. It's all sand. Like it was just all sand, and you could see the sediment that it was carrying. Some of it had like sticks and flowers and things like that that had died in it. Like it was, I mean, sticks aren't living, but you know what I mean. 111 on the time. So it's like it was carrying stuff, and I feel like what came to mind for you, Aquarius, when I was meditating on this energy was like the way that your thoughts are like that too, but it's the way that it dissolves so quickly. So it's like finding thoughts that you can root to, finding thoughts that you can allow to take root. That I don't know that you're mindful enough of. Like there's something about the thoughts taking root that won't carry or allow energy, negative energy to become toxic. So we have depth and lake. Yeah, it's like this sort of inward journey. But it's like the way that the algae is, it depends on the bacteria in the ecosystem. Like it depends on what's in the ecosystem. So it's almost like seeing this underwater area. Like and I see this as like the depths of you, like the depths of your thoughts, the depths of your world. So it's like the way that these thought processes are affected by the ecosystem. But it's like more so what I got for you is just the way that they just dissolved. Like they look like these solid things, these solid structures floating. You can see them in the affirmation video for July 17th a little bit. You can see it in some of them where there's like a reflection on the water of the trees, and you can see some of them. And I was like, ooh, that looks yucky. But then I'm like, it's just algae. It's fine. But it was just like this feeling of like, oh, like it looks out of place, even though that ecosystem birthed it. So it's sort of like the things that might look out of place, they're actually quite normal and crucial because it wasn't toxic algae. And that actually does filter out impurities from the ecosystem, right? So keeping that in mind too, so that it's like what makes the difference for you between the mental algae, as it were, that catches all of these like negative energies, and then in turn clears the ecosystem, or the one that becomes toxic. Like what's the fundamental difference in your energy in your ecosystem, and how are you tending to that? But I feel like you are. I think a lot of this tells me that it's about going within. It's about going within. um mhm. But I also feel like it's about recognizing environments that make you feel like you're drowning. Obvious interpretation of this, yes, but that can also change. Like think about all of the chemicals that would have been in, I mean the castle's older, but like the things that would have been in it that would have changed the ecosystem and added things to it. So considering the way your environment is also impacting that for you. Spirit, what messages do you have for Aquarius for this timeless reading? Chop wood. I feel like it feels like this might feel like work, like it's like work to monitor your thoughts. But I feel like the real story here is that it's not always going to feel that way. Number one. Number two, it's not about monitoring every thought. It's about listening to how you feel, because that's the greater compass that informs your thought processes. That is the greater compass that informs um, just where you are. Okay. So it says, with love. Dearest you, miracles never run out. Look back over your life and you will see so many moments of synchronicity when all the right people, the right place, the right opportunities, and the right time just showed up without any of your help. Think back to how you felt just before a miracle happened. You felt you were giving up, but it was more of a gentle surrender to whatever was about to happen. We want you to know that miracles are being concocted for you and you will never, ever run out of them. You just don't get to choose how they come, who will deliver them, and when they will show up, and what they will do for you. I feel this like heat right here. Oh, that is intense. All of that is our department. Spirit knows what is best for you and what wants to be expressed through you. You are incredible and amazing and a magnet for miracles. That would be a good mantra for you today. We're on it. Relax. If you only knew how much you were loved. Sigh. Yeah. It's almost like it's like the chopped wood is like, maybe you're putting a lot of work into this. And it's like the nature of algae is to clear things on its own. It's like a filtration system in a way. I mean, seaweed more so, but like that's one of the things that algae does, right? Or can do at least, in large concentrations. Like when you get into algae mats, like MATS, that's different. But just in small portions, it can act as a filter. Because like when I would poke them with the paddle, and I wasn't doing this to all of them, I did it 2 or 3 times just to see and to observe what happened. And it was mostly sediment that came out of it. It was a lot of sediment. And so it's like this filtration system. So it's like mental filters. It could also be a call to be very aware of where you could be using cognitive dissonance or things like that, like different filters in your thinking, which, I mean, like as an Aquarian myself, I know that that's kind of our jam, like is thinking, right? It just, that's how it is. So, yeah. Spirit, what messages do you have for Aquarius? Okay, do you want these? Okay, Aquarius, what the F? You're getting a lot. So we got the crown chakra, healing begins, solar plexus chakra, take the lead. This is the 3 of Wands. Take the lead and seek the truth, 7 of Swords. So I'm hearing awakening. How descriptive, I know. Oh, waking up too. Okay, so I see. Thank you so much, Spirit. It's just awareness. It could be an awakening for some, though. Like, I'm not going to rule that out. I was trying to feel the energy to narrow it down. And I saw this sense of, like, awakening too, like a sort of split into, like, there's a new belief pattern or system that you're implementing for yourself or leaning on. The healing begins. This is a 6 of Swords. So it's almost like it's like there's this heart healing that's facilitated by work. You know, it could be downloads with the crown chakra. It could be downloads from Spirit directly that you've been getting that have been helping you to understand something and like understand it without logic, like understand it through your heart center, which then allows you to take healed and healing action on something, which is exactly why take the lead is here. This 3 of Wands, this is a sort of forward movement energy. And it could be just, you know, responding well to something. Responding well to something. And then the 7 of Swords, seek the truth. I was going to say take the lead, but that's it. It's like this energy. You are taking the lead. You might have been waiting like passively for something, and not passively. I'm seeing it as more like, I talked about surrender here, right? Like when you surrender, I'll read the line to you. It says, you felt like you were giving up, but it was more like a gentle surrender to whatever was about to happen. Maybe all you needed to do was open the curtain in your consciousness. With it, because we have 7-7, which is a spiritual number, right? I mean, all numbers are spiritual, but there's a significance there that's of higher origin, I guess, or higher consciousness. I know what I'm trying to say. I'm thinking if you look up the meaning of 777, the depths of spiritual connection in that are what I'm feeling from this 7 and 7 here. But I feel like there's something that is, it's like allowing you to take decided action towards a thing. Now, I'm going to fold these into one because that's not even the clarifying row. That's just like a position of the cards. Let me do this so that you can see them. Yeah, you sent me a little notebook. Sorry. But yeah, so like it's like, that's just one position. Like there's, the cards are very vocal today for you. Success and growth. It's the 8 of Pentacles. Or sorry, 8 of Wands. My mistake. Choose your battles. 7 of Wands. That is on point. And then strengthening bonds. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. I quite like this energy. It's almost showing up as like an Empress vibe. Whoa, that's, yeah, I bent it down so you could see it. Let me just move this back up. And not knock the whole thing off. Yeah, okay. So you're being called to embrace I think you're like being called to embrace the possibility of success or just understanding your success. Cause I almost feel like there's a way that you might have been filtering it out. Like you were just like not filtering it out deliberately, but when you're busy, you don't have time to stop. And like, it's not even about smelling the roses. It's about smelling the flowering of all of the seeds that you've planted in your life. Have you allowed yourself that? Have you allowed yourself that? I don't know why this is relevant. Okay. It's really loud right now. So last night I had this dream. I have many of them, at least one a night, where I was in this, it was like this music shop, and I was walking around and someone was asking about volunteering. I wrote it down here. Yeah, I was in a music shop with another person. So, and they inquired about volunteering, and they also asked about a specific cassette tape, which is like my age. But it was like they asked about volunteering in a specific cassette tape, and then someone was going to try like leaving. So I had a friend in the dream, and they were going to try leaving. And we were walking uphill in the woods. Now, I don't know why that's relevant. Maybe there's a cassette tape or like a mixed tape or something like that. I am from the era where those were made often. But yes, and also the internet had a sound, and it was the dial-up sound. Like that's, yeah. But I know most millennials will probably be like, and all of us too, you're not special, which is true. But that dream for some reason came up. So it's like I'm hearing mixtape now. Like, but it's almost like maybe, and this is like sometimes playlists help me anchor. So this could be part of the message, but in terms of embracing success and growth, it's also embracing pauses too, so that you can reflect on where you are. And then also from an NLP perspective, so neuro linguistic programming, with things like running playlists, there are certain songs that I only like to listen to when I run. There are times where it's like because it affects your heart rate and all of this stuff, and my brain just recognizes like it's time to go. But then also building playlists like that have the other effect of relaxation, that have the equal effect of helping you to slow down, that have the other effect of allowing you to breathe. And it's almost like you're not looking at what's growing behind you. You're not looking at it, but it's like it's going to become impossible to ignore because it's a part of you on the one hand, but it's also very quickly flowering. And it's like the way I look at it is like it's really becoming this, like how the light gets in. Look at everything that's growing. That's the Ace of Pentacles. That's new opportunities here for you. But I think this is the algae. This is the algae. This is to release, right? We have 7. So now we have 777. 7 of Swords, 7 of Seven of Wands. Sorry, it took a second. Oh my gosh. I've explained the story of these cards, the numbers and colors, because I have synesthesia. It's a real adventure for me. It's fun though. It's not bad. Um, so we have seven. We have the seventh chakra. We have the seven of swords, and then we have the seven of wands. But I think this is where the algae is. This is the algae for you. Choose your battles to release. It's like releasing stupid conflict. Stupid's an interesting word. Releasing unnecessary conflict. I feel like it's not a high vibe word because it doesn't specify anything other than an emotion. So it's like when you're specifying an emotion that's good, but it's also like, what do you do with it? Right? Like, so I think this seven of wands, to me at least, represents a need to specify too. So being specific about like what does the conflict represent, and is it being solved? What is it like? What is it helping you to do or achieve? And it's not that you need to achieve something productive from conflict all the time. This is a more of a thing where it's like I like to think of it in relationships where it's like if you have a fight with somebody, it's not the end of the world, but what does the fight achieve? Like what happens from that? And provided, like, I'm not talking about like really toxic fighting. I'm talking about like if you get into a disagreement with someone or even an argument, right? Like not screaming at the top of your lungs either, but it's like you're allowed to disagree with people. So when that happens, what's your plan to move through the conflict? How are you communicating that? Because to me, at least, like to me, it's like I have a combination of anxious and avoidant. So for me, it's helpful to have that set out and laid out so that I can understand that when that conflict happens, if my like response of like, oh no, it's like the end of everything, like it's like end of the world, like it's not going to happen that way, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just built in. Like that's part of who we are. We come with attachment styles, right? Like it's not bad or good. It just is. So it's how do you work with that in a way that allows you to create a secure foundation so that you feel seen and heard and that your person or persons feel seen and heard too. Right. So it's just about understanding that. And it's like that is striking me as this like filter, this like algae. That's part of the algae that's filtering out this stuff. And like it becomes toxic when it gets too laden with these toxins. So I'm almost getting that there could be like childhood things that you're like unearthing. Um, like if people were really horrible to you or mean to you, bullied, if you were bullied at all, um, you could carry those with you, right? Like that's sort of like toxins from the environment. And that's where it's like this chop wood. I'm almost seeing the clean it up one instead of the chop wood. That's funny because it's like there are cleaning accoutrements in here. So it's like it's like you're cleaning it up in a way, but you're unafraid of the hard work of that. But this also, I think, is it's more of the decision to face the work. It's a decision to face the work. 4 + 2 is 6, which is the lover's card in the traditional Rider-Waite, which is the choice, right? It's like choosing to put in the work to that. And it's funny to me, not the hard work, the conflict, or the trauma. None of those are funny. Although, like, you can make jokes of it once you're through, and even within, really. But what's funny to me about this is that yeah, like this, it's like on the one hand, you're choosing to observe the toxin and like that's in the environment and to move out of it. But then let me read this part to you. Um, we want you to know that miracles are being concocted for you and you will never ever run out of them. You just don't get to choose how they will come, who will deliver them, when they will show up, and what they will do for you. All of that is our department. So that's the surrender piece, right? That's this like release. So it's like the algae here. Aquarius is awesome. The algae here is about understanding the filters that you're using to see through your experience. And like what does algae do? Like it adds oxygen. It does a whole bunch of things to ecosystems that are fantastic, right? Like, so it's about understanding how all of that is working in your favor. So clarifying this bunch of cards that we got at the beginning: crown chakra, the 6 of swords, the solar plexus, the 3 of wands, and the 7 of swords. It does strike me as like an awakening. So, I mean, it could be an awakening to your own truth. It could be awakening to a process, to understanding. It could be an epiphany. Like this is, it could be like the mechanics of an epiphany. Like how does an epiphany look in tarot? Like this, right? So it's like there could be an epiphany about something that sort of pulls a tower. Like it draws a tower that was necessary to happen. Um, yeah, it strikes me as being kind of necessary here. And I'm seeing that it's because the foundation of the tree was unstable. Like the tree was dead, and you were trying to keep something alive here. Like you were trying to keep a belief system, a thought about something, perhaps a belief about yourself. I'm just hearing now too, alive when it needed to fall. And it would have happened by that particular strike of lightning, by that particular epiphany, or it would have happened at another time. So it's not really like, I'm hearing act of God. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. So we have the King of Wands. We have the King of Wands. I'm almost getting this like creation, recreation energy, like that ambitious drive. And then we have the World Tree, which is the world. Yeah. I'm hearing there's something ancient, but it's like the seasons too. Look at that. The seasons, it's like the change of seasons. Do you see how that tree represents the winter, right? It looks a whole lot like the winter. Like there's something that pulled you out of a winter. And I think it has a lot to do with your creativity, your passion. You could have been recreating yourself perhaps as well, but it comes down to how you're seeing it. And that's like the algae, right? That's the algae. And the way it dissolved, like understanding the impermanence of this, the impermanence of where you are. And the wheel. Yep. Because I feel like there's some huge, and the sun on the bottom. There's a lot that's changing for you for the better. So it's not about where you've been. It's about understanding that there's an impermanence. Like it's not up to you to do the miracles. The miracles make their way to you. You have to just maintain your thoughts and let go and let go and let go and make that your practice. Letting go, release, breathe, surrender. And don't make it into a job. Just release and surrender because it feels good. Because it feels good. 2-2-2-2 on the time. Yeah. It almost feels like there was like there was this epiphany, and then the real epiphany is what is coming to you about this impermanence. Spirit, can you clarify this success and growth for me, please? 8 of Wands, Hearth Fire. Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles twice. The Stags of Strength. And just to clarify, we have 888. So we have 8 of Wands. We have the 8 of Wands. And then we have the 8, which is the Strength card. So 888 right away. So we have 777 and 888. 888 represents abundance, but it also can represent change as well. And we also have Justice. Wow, you are pulling so many major arcanas. Holy crap. So far we have Tower, which is Pluto and some Aries energy. We also have the World, which is Saturn. We have the Wheel, which is Jupiter. Could be Sagittarian energy or Pisces as well, depending on which era you're looking at the tarot and zodiacal wheel from. And then the Sun, which is Leo energy. And we have Leo energy in the Stag, so in the Strength card. And we have Justice and Libran energy. Wow. That is a lot. But I feel like you need to understand that like the new gets in, the new arrives because like it's like on the heels of letting yourself celebrate and be celebrated. Like there's like this way that you're kind of, I don't want to say isolating yourself because that's a distinctly different feeling. This is more so just like you've been kind of like on this journey and on this path, gaining your confidence and getting your footing again. Especially in the light of it's almost like there was this marked impermanence. Impermanence was just like imprinted on the place that you were in, and that was just how it was. And that's okay. We go through periods of life like that because it's here to teach us something. But I feel like there's something more permanent coming in. This is the foundation of life, Ace of Pentacles. That's what it says on the bottom, right there. And so it's like this foundational energy that you're building, but you needed to almost come back to us. Like that's what I'm hearing. Like, come back to us. Come on, come back and join the people. Join the people. Um, yeah. The Strength card and Justice. I feel like it's a lot of like warrior journeying energy. Like you were on this journey. And that's really what impermanence is, right? It's about understanding that as surely as the algae dissolves when you poke it with the paddle, so too does the foundation of a journey that's not steadied by something inside of you. And I feel like you were on this journey to go and steady the thing that's inside of you in order to be able to return to the world with something more solid for yourself, but also for others, because it's hard for people to relate to you, and not relate to you, but it's hard to connect with people well because if you're not stable within yourself, you could look to other people to do that for you. And that's not what people are here for, right? That's not what people are here to provide. Certainly like foundation of house and home. If you agree upon that with a partner, fine. But if you go into a relationship seeking that, every little thing can like cause this upheaval internally, right? It can cause this internal upheaval. So on this choose your battles wisely, like that idea, like this releasing conflict that doesn't like, is it aligned with where you're going? Like sometimes impermanence can make us feel like conflict is the way that we have to address things, and that's just not true. And it's also the way that we do like choose your battles wisely is like that's the filter, right? Like, are you going to let the thoughts that you have be, the catch all for bacteria in your mind in terms of thoughts? You got the Fool, which is to me, no, that's you making this decision to do something new and different. And then you also got the Three of Swords. So it's like, no, there's some heartbreak that you might be hanging on to, or disappointments or betrayals, because when you're, the path of impermanence, and that's kind of like a little bit of non-duality, it is like nothing is certain, nothing is sure. We don't know for sure. We have ideas, we have intuition, we have a whole bunch of different tools to help us. But as far as sure goes, I don't know. I don't think that we're here to be sure. And the beauty of this is that the five, so this is the ancestor in this deck, but this is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is like spiritual knowledge. It's higher knowledge. It's higher connection. It's connection to a system that anchors your spirituality. So this is also kind of a spiritual practice too, right? And I feel like the spiritual practice is kind of connecting you to something bigger than the heartbreak, to allow you, and like bigger than betrayals, bigger than this strikes me as like conflict that really hurt, that might make you feel like battling is the best idea when it's not. Like there's a whole other way of doing things, right? I did a program at work once, and we had to put together this. Well, we didn't have to. I did, because it was great to see the kids get into it, and like right into the program. And we were on teams, and they were so excited. And so I made this battle playlist. And whenever I think about this sort of warrior energy, for some reason I hear the song "O Fortuna" that was on that playlist. That the kids went ham about it. It was great. But it's just like I think about that, like that sort of like energy, where it's like when you're disappointed, when you really carry this inside, when you really carry this energy with you. This card says jealousy, but I just don't feel like that's jealousy. I feel like this is like just kind of pain, like, and I saw it in another reading, like where it's like the pain of target practice, right? But if you're not comfortable with that impermanence, or that's a lesson that you're in the process of learning or releasing. And this is about releasing attachment, because that's what impermanence is like releasing the need for it to be exactly a specific way, right? But it's just like allowing the disappointments to be what they are, and to reframe the disappointments that were, and understand that all of it is opportunities to connect with your higher version. All of it. Every last bit of it. Some of it really hurts, and it's okay to let it hurt, but don't let it consume you. And then we also have the Magician. Yeah. And that's the energy of creation, right? Like that's the energy where you're making something of this. That's that creative potential and process that's just so damn beautiful. Okay, so Spirit, can you please clarify this Ace of Pentacles, please? Four of Swords, rest. Yeah. I feel like this is quite a big energy with the butterfly too. Like just give yourself a rest. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles, which is skill. But this is also like, that's like, it's kind of like a back to the drawing board a little bit. We have the Knight of Wands and Death. And the Ace of Swords. Yeah. I feel like you're reconnecting to this truth about yourself. And the truth about yourself, it's been coming out in a couple readings, but like the truth about yourself, what does that mean? Because it's such a big thing. This is about the truth of what's possible when you are channeling your energy in a way that honors you, and that is connected to that sense of grounding. Because it's a sense of grounding that comes from releasing yourself from attachments. It's releasing attachments. Right? It's allowing yourself to feel all of the things that you're going to feel, but to make a grounded decision about what you're going to do with it. Right? And how are you, I see this too as a teaching card. The Hierophant is a teacher. So it could be that you have, like, there's a spiritual teacher on your path that's arriving on your path, or that you're meeting on your path. When it comes to this Ace of Pentacles, I feel like there's a great deal of work that you've put into healing. Just right out of the gate. There's a way too that with this energy of the Tower here, the Tower and the King of Wands, it's like the way that you can offer of yourself is very creatively, is very passionately the Knight of Wands, like moving forward, directed energy, being sure of where you're going. You know what you want and you're headed in the direction of getting it. And it's like this fearless truth. Like I see the Death card, and so the Scorpio energy and the Ace of Swords is like this fearless truth. You're not afraid of the truth of things. You're not afraid of, any dirt that might have been caught up in the algae. You're understanding it to be like useful. You're understanding the impermanence at work in everything. And it's like making peace with yourself and where you are, knowing that that too is temporary, knowing that that is it's almost, I'm hearing freedom. Like it's a kind of freedom. Let me pull from the Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection deck by Mike Dooley. Okay, Spirit, what messages do you have for my Aquarians? Oh, you want that one first. Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. So we have growth plants. You may have deer or stag or something along those lines. 3333 on the time. There could be something along those lines here because we have like an over-representation of that energy here. And like in two major arcana cards with the ancestor and the stag. And then this showed up again. So this is growth in plants. So it could just be a call to have faith in yourself and to have faith in the journey that you're on so far. I mean, also look up the name of stag. I know my my last name in Gaelic is stag or deer or something like that. But I feel like it's an actual, like, you'll see one, or you'll see the representation of antlers. You'll see something along those lines that will make this or help this resonate for you, Aquarius. Yeah. And alchemy magic. This is so on point. This is like this is where you're allowing your internal ecosystem to inform the creation of the algae, but then also to inform the creation of the dissolution thereof, to inform the environment. It's like you are your own ecosystem right now, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's important to alchemize all of that, to transmute feelings, to sit with them and understand that you don't want to transmute them just so you have to, so you don't get to, you're not like, oh, I need to avoid the inconvenience of them. No, 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 no. You need to feel it all, because that is the process of, it's like that is an alchemical process. Big alchemical process. Like, big time. Yeah. And it's almost like in the alchemy, you're going to understand something about the impermanence that you may have been seeking you've been seeking comfort from, perhaps. And impermanence is such an interesting thing, because it's just not attaching to the outcome of something. It's just letting it be as it is. And obviously knowing where you want to go. It's knowing what you want. Like, I'm a firm believer that, like, if I'm, like... So, I find it weird to hypothesize without... Anyways, I'm not in a relationship and I'm single, but it's like if if I was dating, right? And like, I'm open to it, but anyways... I'm so awkward about telling stories like this. Anyways, if like dating, I would want to say to somebody, I would want like I want a long-term relationship. That's what I would like. That's something I'm seeking. So if someone is dating for just like, to fall madly in bed with someone, that's not going to jive with me necessarily. Right. Like, it's like, and it's understanding that you don't have to have a marriage planned out. You really don't. You just have to know that someone is open to that if it comes up along the way. And if that's something that meets you on the path, like you have to be open to that. And it's just that kind of energy where it's like, because the priorities will be different, right? Like, and you don't want to leave yourself in a position of pain and longing, right? So, all right, Spirit, what messages do you have for me here? Ugh, my awkward sojourn into that tale. I always try to check myself, because I don't want to say like I'm not open to dating, because I absolutely am. And it's just saying like I'm not dating someone right now. So this is a hypothetical, blah, 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 blah. And I just get all awkward and falling all over myself like a dork. Okay. Spirit, what messages do you have for my... And dork is just like a loving reference. It's not mean. I'm not being mean to me. Like, I won't get a call from my friend Steph being like, stop being mean to my friend. That's me. Okay. Spirit, what messages do you have for my Aquarians? Oh, both. You were born with that it quality. Some of you may have Leo in your chart. That's a very Leo card. But you were born with that it quality. And start where you are. Oh, that's just like that. Does that not just give you permission? Start where you are. Love it. Love it. Love it. Aquarius, that is your reading. It's all about the algae around these parts. Algae blooms on the water. The dissolution thereof. Oh, it's such a good meditation, though. Nonetheless, this is your reading, Aquarius. If it resonated, please like and subscribe. I'd love to have you on the channel. If you want to check out other videos, there's tons of other content on this channel, so do check that out. And if you're joining me from my subscriber base, holy crap, thank you. I really appreciate you, so thank you so much. And if this is where we part, Aquarius, wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, I hope that it finds you very well. Have a great day.